You know that one person who treats their birthday like it is just another Tuesday? No countdown, no birthday month, no restaurant booked weeks ahead. They answer a few messages, eat something slightly nicer, and go back to work like the date means nothing. Everyone asks, "Where's the party? Why aren't you excited?" They just shrug. It's only a birthday. From the outside, this can look sad, detached, or strange, but inside, something very different may be happening. If you treat your birthday like a normal day, welcome. You are about to feel very seen. It does not mean you hate yourself. It does not mean nobody cares about you. And it definitely does not mean you are secretly miserable every time someone brings out a cake. Today, we are breaking down the psychology of people who do not make a big deal out of their birthday, even when everyone around them expects them to feel excited. For some people, birthdays are emotional fireworks. The decorations, the messages, the dinner plans, the photos, the feeling that for one day the world pauses and says, "You matter." But for others, birthdays feel strangely artificial. The attention feels scheduled. The excitement feels required. And being told to enjoy yourself can somehow make the whole day less enjoyable. One way to understand this is through the psychological need for autonomy. Stripped of all the academic language, autonomy simply means wanting your choices, reactions, and emotions to feel like your own. So when a birthday arrives with an invisible script, be happy, make plans, take pictures, open presents, react enthusiastically. Some people quietly resist, not because they dislike celebration, but because they dislike being told how a meaningful day is supposed to feel. It is like someone handing you a microphone and saying, "Okay, now perform gratitude." For a private person, that can feel less like a gift and more like suddenly being placed on a stage. But there is another layer. Some people simply do not attach much emotional meaning to symbolic dates. They care about relationships, they care about memories, they care about whether the people around them are actually present in their lives. They just do not believe those things become more important because the calendar says so. To them, love is the friend who checks in on an ordinary Thursday. Connection is not 50 birthday messages from people they barely speak to. It is one honest conversation with someone who actually knows them. And psychologists have looked at why dates like birthdays can feel so psychologically important. Researchers Johanna Peet and Ann Wilson have described birthdays as temporal landmarks, mental lines that can separate one chapter of life from another. For some people, turning another year older naturally triggers reflection. Who was I last year? Where am I now? Where am I going next? Researchers Hengchen Dai, Catherine Milkman, and Jason Rees have also studied what is sometimes called the fresh start effect, where meaningful dates can make people feel as though they are entering a new chapter and motivate them to change something. But here's the interesting part. Not everyone gives those landmarks the same emotional weight. For one person, a birthday can feel like opening the first page of a new chapter. For someone else, it really does feel like Tuesday. And neither reaction automatically tells you whether that person is happy, unhappy, grateful, or emotionally detached. But treating the day normally can also protect someone from something else. Expectations, because birthdays come with an invisible emotional scoreboard. Did enough people remember? Did the right person message? Did anyone plan something? Does anyone actually know what I would like? And then there is the bigger question hiding underneath all of it. Am I where I thought I would be by this age? Suddenly, a birthday is no longer just cake. It is a yearly progress report you never asked to receive, so expecting nothing unusual can feel safer. The day stays emotionally flat, but if you never expect much from it, it cannot disappoint you quite as deeply. And this is where it gets personal. Sometimes this pattern starts with birthdays that felt awkward, disappointing, or unpredictable. Maybe family celebrations were tense. Maybe people forgot. Maybe someone promised to show up and did not. Maybe money was tight, so birthdays became something everyone tried not to make a big deal about. Or maybe attention appeared intensely for one day and disappeared again the next morning. That can teach someone something very specific. Anticipation is risky. Hope becomes a balloon they stop inflating because they remember how loud it feels when it pops. So eventually, the nervous system learns a simpler strategy. Do not expect too much. Do not ask for too much. Do not make the day too important. And suddenly, it's just another day. Does not sound indifferent anymore. it sounds protective, but there are two very different versions of this behavior. Sometimes it is genuine simplicity, and sometimes it is emotional armor. Because let's be honest about something, some people who say they do not care about their birthday actually care quite a lot. They may want to feel celebrated, but asking for attention feels embarrassing. They may secretly hope someone planned something, but admitting that hope would make disappointment feel too exposed. So they reject the day before anyone else gets a chance to ignore it. I don't care can be completely honest, but sometimes it means I care more than I want anyone to know. And that is an important difference. Do you treat your birthday normally because simplicity genuinely feels good? Or because wanting something from other people feels too vulnerable? One is peace, the other is protection. There is also the issue of aging, because for some people, birthdays feel less like celebrations and more like annual performance reviews. Another year passed. Did I achieve enough? Should I be further ahead? Why does everyone else seem to have figured this out? The cake is sitting on the table, but your brain has quietly opened a spreadsheet. Career, money, relationships, family, health, goals you said you would reach by 30, or 35, or 40. Ignoring the birthday can become a way of avoiding that comparison. Not because the person is ungrateful, but because the date asks questions they may not feel ready to answer. And social media can make that even stronger, because now birthdays are not only personal, they are visible. You see the surprise trips, the giant flower arrangements, the 30 photo birthday carousel, the partner who apparently rented half of Paris just to say happy birthday. And then you are sitting at home eating pasta in sweatpants, which might actually be exactly what you wanted. But the comparison still sneaks in. So some people opt out completely. No big post, no countdown, no performance, just another day. And sometimes that feels incredibly peaceful. So, what does all this mean? Some people celebrate loudly because rituals, attention, and shared excitement make them feel connected. Others prefer a quiet meal, a familiar chair, their normal routine, and maybe one message from the person who truly matters. Neither is automatically healthier. Neither is automatically deeper. They are simply different ways of experiencing meaning. You can appreciate your life without throwing a party. You can feel loved without posting balloons on social media. You can be grateful for another year without pretending the date feels magical. And you can treat your birthday like a normal day without being cold, boring, or broken. But you are also allowed to admit that part of you wants to be remembered. Wanting attention occasionally does not make you needy. Wanting someone to make an effort does not make you dramatic. And wanting your birthday to matter does not suddenly make you self-centered. For some people, attention feels warm. For others, it feels like a spotlight. You might be sitting here realizing you are one of these people and you have never really thought about why. Or maybe you are the complete opposite. Maybe birthdays matter enormously to you. You love the calls, the plans, the messages, the cake, the whole thing, and that is not shallow either. Rituals can create connection, they can mark time. They can remind us to stop for a moment and notice the people we usually rush past. Neither way is superior. They are simply different strategies for giving meaning to our lives. So the next time someone says, it's just another day, do not automatically assume they're sad. They may simply value quiet meaning over public celebration. They may not need a crowd. They may not need the spotlight. They may not need the calendar to tell them when something matters. And if that person is you, you are not boring. You are not ungrateful. You are not missing some fundamental human experience. Maybe your birthday is not a stage. Maybe it is just a small marker on the calendar. And maybe what matters to you most happens on all the ordinary days in between. So tell me, do you celebrate your birthday, ignore it completely, or secretly hope someone surprises you anyway? Drop your answer in the comments and subscribe for more psychology behind the everyday behaviors we rarely stop to question.